As Nelda likes to say, sometimes all it takes is a spark.
How old were you the first time you saw Disney's Haunted Mansion?
1977. I was 6 years old. We had been down in Lauderdale visiting my grandparents. My parents had come along. When I got a little older, I went on my own, but they were with. We drove to Disney World, and it was back in the days of ticket books. And in the days of ticket books, you had to ration your tickets. So we had one e-ticket, which were the tickets for the very best of the rides left. And it was getting to be time to drive back to Lauderdale. And so we had time for one more ride. And in those days, the guidebook was very thick because nobody knew what the rides were. So they had to have, it wasn't enough to say Peter Pan's Magical Adventure or whatever. You had to explain what it was because people weren't familiar with it. And so my father is reading this kind of turgid ad copy that goes with each of the rides, and we get to the Haunted Mansion, and I'm like, that sounds great to me. And my mother was like, it's probably too scary, it'll give him nightmares. And I just was like, as soon as I was told that it was too scary for me, I absolutely wanted to go on it. I begged and pleaded and wheedled, and it was a perfect ride through. It was dark. The park was closing, and so it was empty. There was only one other small group with us. The cast member was perfect. She just chewed the scenery. I can remember her to this day. And then the best part was that this was the golden age of the Haunted Mansion souvenir. It was back when there was a company called Randotti, which I always assumed was Italian, but it stands for Randy and Dottie, and they were the Southern California couple who made like cool plaster skulls and stuff. And so they sold all this great merchandise, tombstones that you could personalize with your name, magic tricks, fright masks, and I ransomed my allowance into the next century to just buy all of this amazing stuff. And we got in the rental car, and I immediately fell asleep, which was my superpower when I was a kid. And I woke up the next morning on my grandmother's sofa in Lauderdale, and I ran into the kitchen and she said, "Hello, Cory, how is Disney World?" And I said, "Where is my stuff?" What I didn't know is that our car had broken down in the night, and that the rental agency had sent out a loaner, and that when they carried me from the car into the loaner, they didn't take my Haunted Mansion souvenirs with me. And we never recovered them. And many of them have never been offered for sale since. I have bookmarks on eBay for recurring searches for these that go back to when eBay was called Auction Web before they changed the name.
Wow.
And they've never been listed for sale. And they are my rosebuds, my great lost loves. And since then, the Haunted Mansion, Disney merchandise has done a whole new line of hundreds of new SKUs, and some of them are just amazing. I worked on some of that stuff. I worked for Imagineering for a while as a contractor, and some of it even won an award. We won the Themed Entertainment Award for a thing called Ghost Post that was this kind of storytelling and merch subscription box that we did 999 boxes of and sold out in a evening, before even the press release went out. And it's great. I mean, we have probably more Haunted Mansion junk around the house than any sane family should, but none of it rises to the level of that lost merchandise in my imagination from that long ago car ride.
Oh, when I read that, my heart just broke for your 6-year-old self. It was like, oh no, he lost it all. Oh.
Clearly, I never got over it. I mean, here I am. I'm a 50-year-old grown-ass man complaining about it, so there you go.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Oh.